What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports. We are back. Sam is here,
As always.
as always. Going to run through a couple of big talking points over the past week or two. We might end up doing a little bit of a roundup of the sporting year, a couple of highlights at the end. We'll see. But over the past week, there's been a bit of beef. I think in a couple of different sports. Obviously, I don't know if you've heard about George Russell and Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
They're scrapping.
yeah.
Today, it's come out that Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola are scrapping.
Really? I missed that one.
Yep, we'll get onto that in a minute. And then you got Ben Stokes scrapping with the ICC as well.
Yeah.
I think he put out an Instagram story about the slow overrun rate. So yeah, a lot of beef going on this week. But we'll get started. We'll jump into F1. We'll jump into that beef to begin with. Max versus George. What did you make of it? What the
Mm,
scenario in Qatar last week, which is now spiraled into the last weekend of the season.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Max Verstappen's penalty, and to take him from pole to second was probably a bit harsh. But it turns out they were being harsh with penalties the whole weekend anyway. Because Lando Norris getting a 10-second stop and go
That's
penalty
crazy.
is
That's hard.
insane.
That's so hard.
Insane. Um, but you know, in terms of Max, we know he's a fiery person. He says what he thinks, and when he's in the heat of the moment, he says some outrageous things. And I think George Russell was probably, from the sounds of it, going quite hard on trying to push for a penalty.
Mm.
Um, which sounds a bit, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of George Russell.
It
He seems
gives
a bit whiny. It seems a bit whiny to me.
Yeah, it gives prefect vibes, doesn't it? He teaches
Yeah,
pet.
100%. He's a Draco Malfoy kind of guy. That is exactly who he is. Yeah, so him being like, and I fully understand, like Max Verstappen saying, "I'll put you face first into a wall on the track." Like, you shouldn't say that
No.
at any point, even if you're frustrated. But then to be like, but then to be play victim again, I suppose, in being like, oh, he can say those things and be ironic, and these are dangerous comments, and it's just I feel like he's already won the championship. The season's over for both of them.
Mm.
Like he's not gonna get really any higher, any lower in the championship. Mercedes aren't really fighting for too much in the championship. Like, for those two people, that the championship is done.
Yeah.
Just play out the rest of the season. Like, take the penalties where they come. Like, you can say like, oh, that was a bit harsh, but everyone agreed. I think most of the people agreed. I think most people, in terms of Max Verstappen slowing down on that, I don't see what the problem was particularly.
They were both on slow laps.
Yeah,
Both.
neither of them were on flying lap.
No.
If George was on a flying lap, fair enough, but he wasn't. He was going really quickly. He said he was going according to his delta, which is fair enough if that's what you're seeing. If the delta hasn't changed quick enough for how quick the Max is going and stuff, like, I feel like that's just an error. It's just an accident. It could have ended badly. It didn't. Great. But I don't think that was the fault of Max, and I
No.
don't think it warranted a one place grid penalty. Like, how often do you see a one place grid
It's
penalty?
historic. I don't think it's ever happened before. Well, not not
Like,
not in recent memory anyway. One
I
place.
only ever see like three or like 10 or like back of the grid kind of thing. One place seems a bit like, oh yeah, we'll just slap him on the wrist. But I mean, what was he leading through turn one again anyway?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
what's the
pissed
what's the
off
point?
Max Verstappen, he's going to take the lead, no matter
Yeah,
no matter where he is really. So, um,
exactly.
yeah,
What
it's.
do you think?
I agree. I agree with you. It seemed way over the top.
Yeah.
At this point in the season as well, when everything was said and done, I think this instant was blown way out of proportion. I do think George Russell has a point though. I do think that Max, maybe his words were a little bit strong, but I
Yeah.
do think Max has particularly been protected by a lot of the decisions, i.e., by Red Bull and stewards previously,
Mm.
and that may allow him to drive in a certain way and thinks he can drive in a certain way. So I do kind of understand where George Russell is coming from. You can't force
Definitely.
people off the track like he has done to Lando this year
Yeah.
and Lewis in 2021. So I understand that. And
Yeah.
I think that we might get onto the stewards in a little bit and the rule book and everything else, but something needs to be looked at that everyone's on the same page. It starts at
Yeah.
the beginning of the season. There's no grey areas. It's going to be pretty hard to have no grey areas in F1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems a bit. New rules are being brought in towards the end of the season. It's yeah, it seems a little bit all over the place. So I think George was way over the top.
Yeah.
It was blown away out of proportion, but there is an element of Max is a little bit of a bully on track in a
Yeah.
sense. We'll see where this goes this weekend.
I
Got
know.
one race left of the season, Abu Dhabi. I think it's been kicking off with Christian Horner and Toto Wolff as well. They've had beef for years, but apparently Toto Wolff called Christian Horner a yappy little terrier this week.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. To which Horner clapped back and said, "Well, I'd rather be a terrier over a wolf," which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, they've had beef since 2021 as well. So that's probably where a lot of
Fuel the
this,
fire, yeah.
yeah, fueled the fire. But Max Verstappen and George Russell beef has come from between the two sort of teams. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to Max. He's won his fourth World Championship in 4 years. Deserved at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Deserved
probably.
it. Got a little bit close midway through the season. Lando had a bit of a fight back, but ultimately he's you know he
Yeah.
put his foot down. No pun
Yeah,
intended.
pretty much. I think yeah, probably deserved. They stormed the first half of the season. I think it was good that Lando. I mean, it was the first time since I can't remember when was it 1970s, 1940s that like was it four different teams have had? Or there's been like six multiple win drivers,
Yeah, that's right.
which is I think it's great for the sport. Um, I think it's just good. It's been good. It's been a good year for motor racing, even though we've known who's going to win it for a while. It's been odd. Like we could have assumed Max was going to win it from 7 races in, but you never really knew who was going to win what weekend after that.
100%. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh no, it's going to be a Red Bull domination. Like, are they going to win every single race this season?"
Yeah,
There's a lot of those calls early on, and they did storm in front. But from sort of the a third of the way through the season, it was very competitive,
yeah,
and it would have been a super interesting season if Red Bull didn't get off to that flying start, and if other teams were on their level right to begin with, because that would,
mm,
like you said, multiple race winners. Oscar Piastri's won two, Hamilton's won two, Leclerc's won three. So yeah, it's been a super interesting season. Um, Hamilton's last race for Mercedes as well this weekend.
yeah.
It's gonna be
Be
so weird
interesting.
seeing him in red, man, next season. It's gonna be so
Yeah,
weird.
I mean, it's just be weird. Like him. I mean, he didn't have a great weekend last weekend. He told them he was just going to turn off the car.
Yeah, mad.
Oh, that was a bit mad. I think fair enough. Like it's his last stint, and he wants to. He's just a competitor. He wants to go out better than the car is at the moment, which is a shame. But hopefully he puts on a good show this weekend. I think Abu Dhabi is going to be a difficult place for him to go for a long time, just with everything that happens. So I'm hoping he does all right.
Yeah, yeah. I think Mercedes have stepped up their game in recent weeks, so he has
Mm,
got a shot. But his qualifying form all season has been pretty poor to
awful.
Lewis's standards. So it's imperative really. It gets a good qualifying to build the momentum into Sunday. Otherwise, if he's going to
Yeah.
be starting 10th to 15th, then he's not really got a shot. One last thing I want to touch on: the curious case of Sergio Perez.
Who?
Exactly. He's still somehow got a Red Bull seat, and he's still insistent that he's going to be at Red Bull next year. Come out with a whole bodge job of statements, basically not taking ownership, essentially. Quickly,
Jesus.
what are your
I don't see a world where he should be in a rebel. If he is, like, I'm just continually going to be shocked.
100%?
because how the fuck he's done that?
No.
Is he paying Christian Horner himself? Is this a contract just going back to Christian Horner? I don't get it.
Free Yuki,
Um,
mate. Free Yuki. That's what I say.
yeah, just
So
get somebody else, anyone else. You could have gotten Sainz and had it. Oh Jesus, it just doesn't compute in my head. How, like they should have been a shoo-in for the constructors, yet they're not even.
they're third
They're
in
not
out.
even.
They're third in
Yeah.
out. But yeah, I think it's between the constructors is between Ferrari and McLaren this weekend. I think
Yeah.
there's 21 points in it. But I think if I'm right in saying Leclerc got handed a 10 place grid penalty today
Oh really?
because he used a new energy store or something
Okay.
like that. So yeah, that basically damages their chances already.
Yeah.
McLaren already 20 points up. So yeah, puts them off the back on the back foot a little bit. So it
Mm.
looks like it's McLaren's and McLaren need to have an absolute stinker to throw that away. Uh,
Yeah.
but as you said, it's been a great season all round, regardless, really. And I do like Abu Dhabi as a track.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll move on to football. A Chelsea back, a Chelsea back, Sam.
I
Honest
don't, I
opinion.
don't, I don't, I don't, I don't know if they're fully back. I think
Okay,
that's a bit premature. I would imagine. Um, who was it? You beat 5-1 again?
Southampton,
Yeah. And how many men do they have on the pitch?
10 men. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like you can't say they're fully back. They're definitely playing a lot better. Um,
Second in the league, mate. Second in the league. Table don't lie.
it's quite impressive, to be honest. It's quite impressive. But I mean, also not hugely impressive at the same time. Because are you still at 8 points back?
Seven, yeah, seven,
7.
seven. Newcastle drew to we think we were nine, and then Newcastle drew to Liverpool, so we're seven now.
Yeah.
Newcastle, Liverpool saw off to a flyer. They're storming.
Honestly. Yeah. So I feel like I still feel like City are going to come back.
Think it's inevitable.
Yeah. I
They've
think they've
got a
got us
few
this
injuries.
weekend.
Yeah, they've got a few injuries and stuff, but yeah, I think Pep will work it out when he after
Yeah.
he's got over his meltdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Although he apparently tried to fight somebody the other day. You see
I
the
saw
video?
that. Yeah, I saw that on
Yeah.
Twitter.
So I don't know if he's fully over it. But yeah, I think Chelsea definitely playing better than they have for a long time.
I'm pleased. I can't lie, I'm pleased. I mean, Maresca's only been in 6 months. You know,
Mm.
gone are the days of Graham Potter and Pochettino where we're sat mid-table or bottom half.
No.
He's got the players playing. We've got an incredibly young squad. I think he's got really good sort of management skills. He's quite cutthroat, and if it's
Yeah.
either his way or you're out of the squad essentially. So, and I kind of like that. He's not their mate. He's very
Yeah.
different manager style to Pochettino. Pochettino was kind of like arm around the shoulder kind of guy. He's like
Yeah.
cutthroat, and he seems to be getting the best out of the players at the minute. Cole Palmer's still playing incredibly well,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can't complain at all.
I think that's the way you have to be. Like, I think it's a little bit similar to Amarin. He's very much like just strict.
Correct, yeah.
We'll get them playing the way he wants them to play. Um, and I think since he's been in, like, yeah, United have still not haven't played very well, but we're beating the teams we should beat
Yeah.
at the moment. Like losing to Arsenal, fine. I'm okay with that
Mm.
at the end of the day in terms of if we're real rebuilding. But if we're playing in Everton and able to win 4-0, like that's great. That's what we want.
100%. Marcus
I agree.
Rashford's back scoring as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's he had one good game and then he was shit against Arsenal again. So it's very up and down. I think and like yeah, Xerxes scored 2, but Xerxes is also pretty shit.
Mm.
So I've taken that with a pinch of salt in terms of the wins. I think we've got City this weekend. Our running is awful for the
Mm.
next few weeks.
Tough.
I think we've got. Let's have a look.
But if you
So
want to, if there's any time to play City, It would be right now, wouldn't it? It would be
True.
playing when they're down rather than playing when they're scoring 5-6 past you.
Yeah. So we've got Forest tomorrow actually, and then we've got
Forest, yeah.
Europa League. Then we've got City, Spurs, Bournemouth, who are playing great.
Bournemouth are
Then
good.
then Wolves, then Newcastle, then Liverpool, then Arsenal. Like, what
Oh,
is that run?
that 3 game run is tough, man.
Yeah, the Arsenal one is an FA Cup,
Mm.
so at least that's not it's not going to affect our league too much. But still, it's disgusting.
Thing is though as
Um,
well, like with Anurim coming in at this point in the season, you can't expect results straight away. It's going to take
yeah.
time to,
Hmm,
he's got to be given time. You can already see small signs that he's doing well, but he needs a good pre-season under him at least to in the
yeah,
place that he wants, essentially.
definitely. I'm also hoping that in terms of Chelsea being second in the league, potentially if the league goes down to last few weeks, United could ruin it for Chelsea because we play the second last game of the season.
Do you?
Yeah,
I'm loving the fact that all the players and the manager are convinced that Chelsea are not in a title race. Cole
yeah.
Palmer asked like bluntly, well, he responded bluntly in a press conference saying, "You're in a title race." And he was like, almost gave an impression like, "Don't be daft." Like, no, we're not. And
He's
I'm here for
Cole Palmer also gives the impression that there is nothing going around in his brain,
that.
like 24/7.
Football, and that's
Any question he's asked is like the first thing that comes into his head.
what?
Yeah, and
Chippy
that's it.
chips. I
Chippy chips. So yeah,
love the bloke. I actually
he's hilarious.
love unintentionally hilarious as well. He
Yeah,
don't.
doesn't know he's doing it.
Don't.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, as I mentioned at the top of program, Pat McAfee, top of the episode, and there was a bit of beef come out today with Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho. Apparently, this has all come about from Pep Guardiola giving it the six sign at the weekend or in the midweek, and Jose Mourinho took offence to that, insinuating that Pep Guardiola was mocking him for doing, the classic three, classic Jose Mourinho. So I think Jose Mourinho has now come out and said that at least my three titles were won fairly. Um, so now it's started the beef between Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho. And as we all remember, there was no love lost between them two. Remember, Jose tried to poke out Pep's eyes. Do you remember that? Stuck his thumb in his eye when the Barcelona Real Madrid ties. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
That's hilarious. I mean, to be honest, yeah, Mourinho has no business butting in any of this.
No, you don't. He
He's
lives for the drama.
completely yeah. He just lives for the drama, and I'm here for it. He just wants to be the drama, and it's hilarious every time.
Insinuating that Man City's titles are won on the hands of 150 charges, essentially.
Yeah,
He's brilliant.
yeah.
And he needs to come
Yeah.
back to the Prem ASAP.
I would like to see him back in the Prem, or at least in one of the big leagues, like if he went to Bayern or something,
Yeah,
or back to Madrid. You know,
never know, never know. Also,
Um,
I've found it quite funny this week that, and I'm surprised you haven't almost like ripped the piss out of this. Anyway, Chelsea have got a place in the World Club Cup for 2025, and we've not even played a single game in Europe last season.
how does that work?
So it's a new format, as with all.
What, the format of just randomly picking a team out of hat? Is that the new format?
It's a new format, as with all the European competitions at the minute. Supposedly, the reason why we're in the World Club Cup is the last three winners of the Champions League automatically get a place. It's
What the
because
fuck? How the fuck does that work?
and because Chelsea won in 2021, we're essentially the last place, last automatic place for that. Um, so yeah, Chelsea,
Jesus.
Man City, and Real Madrid automatically get a spot. So we're clinging on to European, or World Club football with the skin of our teeth,
Jesus. That is ridiculous.
and I love it.
I can't wait for you to get absolutely like bulldozed, but by Maccabi Tel Aviv or something
No,
in the
Lionel
World Cup.
Messi, mate. Lionel
Yeah.
Messi.
Oh yeah, into Miami, who are also somehow in it, for no reason whatsoever.
It's really
Why the fuck are
random.
Inter Miami in it?
They've expanded the teams. If you Google like the format, Bayern are in it, Real Madrid are in it, City are in it. So there are other European teams. It's not just like one. I think
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid are in it. So it actually looks like a quite good tournament. And then
Mm.
it's in America, and they're basically, you know what the Americans are like. No offense, Americans. They're basically calling it the World Cup. The World Cup. Uh,
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah, I kind of see the logic, but yeah. So it's going to be held in the States, and it should be pretty good. But yeah, Chelsea got a spot. Got on it.
That's mad. I mean, but like I said, I think they Inter Miami are playing. They didn't even get through to the final. They lost in the playoffs. Like it's all rigged. The
So
fact that how like the Chelsea are going for no reason whatsoever. I don't get it. I don't understand how are Atletico Madrid going.
I don't know. No idea. No idea.
That makes even less sense.
I need to look into it, but yeah, seems all over the gaff, mate. Seems all over the gaff.
Jesus. I don't,
Anyway, talking about Americans, we'll move to NFL. Are the Detroit Lions the best team in the NFL right now? What's
I
your
think
opinions? What's your
I
opinion?
think you'd be hard pressed to say otherwise. They're getting it done. I think they had their backs against the wall a little bit last night. They were 21, I think 7 up, and then we were 28-21 down within like a few minutes,
Mm.
which was quite wild, but they rallied. Um, Jared Goff is leading them well. The running backs are sick.
Yeah,
Um,
they've got a good 1-2 punch. To be fair to them, they do.
Probably the best 1-2 punch in the league.
Mm.
Um, Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, they're beating good teams relatively well. Like, and I think they had 4 out of 5 fourth down conversions last night.
Mate, Dan Campbell has got
Oh,
some balls on him, man.
honestly, last night, so they're in field goal range on a fourth down, and they still went for it.
Yeah, they lost it though. Kind of
No,
backfired.
they got it.
I thought there was one where I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought there was one where they were in their own half and they went for a fourth and was it fourth and five, and I think they didn't get it, but I might be wrong. But yeah, he does
The one
go
I,
for
I
it
thought
well.
of was there was like it was like 20 seconds left, and they were like it was a
Oh
long
yeah,
field
yeah,
goal
yeah.
attempt.
So, yeah.
And they got it. I'm like, what? Why are you taking that risk? Like that's a win or lose. I mean, like I said, he got the balls on that guy is insane. And to be fair, whenever he's made that call, like in the like NFC Championship game, when he made some dodgy calls where he's like, you could have gone for points there.
Mm.
And he came out and said, yeah, that was just my decision. Have full confidence that we can do any of the stuff we do.
That's his
So
mantra, isn't it?
yeah, and he's like calling that like I'm all in, 100% think we're getting that. Um, so I got to respect it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That they're going for the gutsy calls, and it's paying off. I mean, they've lost one game.
They're a bunch of frauds, mate. Bunch of frauds.
Tell
Bunch
you
of...
who's a fraud? Fucking Sam Darnold.
Don't you ever talk to my Sam Darnold, mate, about that. Like, honestly, he's
Mate,
so good.
he's how you won that game, don't know. Honestly, that was a bad game to watch.
First half was bad. First half was bad. Hold my hands up.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, we couldn't get anything going. But come on, like, yeah, you may think that Sam Darnold's, up and down, bit of a fraud, but come on, like he's exceeded expectations. Come on. 10 and 2.
Well, yeah.
10
To
and
be
2.
fair, the Vikings themselves have exceeded expectations, regardless on what kind. Even if they had McCarthy there,
Yeah.
they've exceeded expectations. Um, but yeah, I mean, the more we've gotten into the season, you can still see that they are still playing a little bit dodgy.
We haven't played apart from I would say the Houston Texans, who we battered at the early part of the season. I think it was like 34-7. I don't think we've actually played a full game of football, if that makes sense. We haven't put all
Yeah,
4 quarters together. It's always been first half, you've been shit. You've
yeah,
given it up in the second half. It's always like that. And we sort of have to find a way to win at the end, and that's
Yeah,
where I give Sam Darnold a lot of props because he actually does find a way to win. And
yeah,
there's been a lot of situations in his career where he would 100% throw a pick on that final drive, and the team would lose.
yeah,
So I actually give full props to Sam Darnold. I think he's been incredible this season, and I actually think if he continues to play this way, 10-2, I mean, he's already throws up question marks. But what do you do next season? That's the question. What do you do?
yeah.
Because it was, we've got JJ McCarthy. He's our highest drafted QB,
You've also got Daniel Jones.
and Daniel Jones as well. Like I mean, realistically, I think that Sam Darnold's gonna play himself into a big money contract which the Vikings can't afford. Similar to like a
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield last year. Baker Mayfield earned his money and got that bag at the Bucks.
yeah.
I can see the same thing to Sam Darnold, but what if he goes to the championship game? And what if he takes the Vikings to the Super Bowl? What do you do then? What do you do? Like
I mean, is it a bit of a Nick Foles situation? Um, I understand Carson Wentz played a lot of the season still, but like he wins your games when he's not expected to. He technically was your second string quarterback.
yeah.
Like you don't McCarthy still. It's difficult because Martin McCarthy hasn't technically played a game yet, but he's still probably looked at as your franchise QB.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think, like you said, unless he just doesn't want a massive contract and stays second string. Um, but I feel like if he won the Super Bowl or got to the championship game, he deserves that recognition. And I feel like at this point, I feel like he goes back to the Jets.
No, shut up. No way.
I feel like the Jets pay him because they get rid of Rodgers. They get Sam Darnold back playing as well as we know he can play with now better players at the Jets. I
But
feel like he could take the Jets somewhere.
would he go there? PTSD, mate. PTSD. Like, would he go there?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know where I
It
can
would
see
it
him
would
going?
be amazing.
You know where I can see him? I can see him going to the LA Rams because I can see Matt Stafford retiring. Matt Stafford still playing at a good level. But if Matt Stafford does decide to retire, I can see him go to the LA Rams. They've got a few weapons there. I
Yeah,
think
and they
he's
don't have any
from,
draft picks.
yeah, I think he's from California anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so I can see that happening. Jets is a mad cool like sound. Jets is
I just think it would be wild and
yeah, the storyline on that would be crazy.
it would be something that the Jets would just do
Yeah,
and
because
spend loads of money, and then it turns out Sam Darnold is shit again, and then you just can't. It'd be the ultimate troll if Sam Darnold was just like, yeah, I'm just going to play shit all year now, just to troll the Jets for being so shit to him, which would be hilarious.
he's mad. The
Uh,
NFC though is so tough though as well. Like so tough.
yeah,
I mean,
it-
we touched on it like in a game last night, Packers versus Lions. Packers are now 9-4, which is an incredible record. All NFC North teams. I mean, toughest division in football for sure at the minute.
not all of them now. Not all of them now. The Bears have definitely fallen off.
The Bears have fallen off. Yeah, I mean, I still think they're pretty competitive. I think Caleb Williams can
Oh
definitely
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, they're
continue
not
playing
making the
at the moment.
playoffs, is what I mean.
But I think they've been done dirty by management as well. Do you see that
I, wa-
Eberflus like kind of
I
clock?
watched the Thanksgiving game, and I feel like I'm not a Bears fan, but I felt the frustration watching that because it was so slow. The
You
fact
can
that they
see,
got sacked,
you can see
they
the
got
culture.
sacked in field goal range. Sacked in field goal range. I was like, oh fuck, take time out, do something. Then take time out, and I was like, okay, this is and they're not really getting back to the line very quickly. It's now coming down to 5 seconds left. You're not going to take a touch, and then they just threw it, and you're like, what the fuck
Why?
happened? What goes through your mind when that isn't going through everyone else's mind? Because everyone around and the problem, I think a lot of people. I mean, what the Sky commentators and pundits were saying like straight away, which I thought was good, was like that's not on Caleb Williams. Yes,
No.
he's the quarterback and he can call for a timeout, but that is on the coach 100%. Because that was ridiculous. Um, Fair enough going for the win when you're maybe I don't know in the 10-yard
Yeah,
range
yeah.
where you could throw the ball out and get a dead play for one and then kick a field goal. But when you're 40 yards away and
Mad.
then throw a bad pass, yeah, it's just ridiculous. So not surprised he was sacked.
Yeah,
Um, the Packers, though, I mean, I know they're third in the NFC, but at the moment they're playing like the second best team in the NFC.
they're good though. They are good. I can't lie.
Josh Jacobs is
Josh Jacobs,
powerhouse.
decent running back. Decent running back. I still think the Vikings are better than them for sure. We've already beaten them in Green Bay this year. Uh,
True.
so
That
we've
was
got
early
that.
on, though.
It was early on. It was early on. I think it was against a pretty banged up Jordan Love as well.
Yeah,
So I mean, I think any NFC North team against each other can win on a given day. On a given day, I
that's
think
very true.
it's ultra competitive. As much as I clown the Lions, they are a really good team. But I think they've got the Bills this Sunday, so
Yeah,
that's the big test. That's the test. And
yeah.
come on, Bills, Josh Allen, one time. Come on, man. Come on. I want a shot at one seed. Come on, and we need the Lions to slip up. So
I mean, yeah, you want a shot at one seed, but I mean, what the
Eagles,
Eagles?
Eagles are the same
Eagles,
bracket as us in a minute.
yeah, and so I think yeah,
And
it's
Saquon
tough.
Barkley he is on a different planet at the minute.
Unreal.
Different planet.
Absolutely unreal. I keep seeing the videos of the Giants like staff when they're talking about bringing him back and paying him money and what they should do, and then the guy being like, "I'll be sick if he plays for Eagles" and stuff like that. And you're like, then why the fuck did you let it
Yeah,
happen?
yeah,
And then calling them and basically saying, "Yeah, we're gonna test you out in the free agency and see what you're worth." And you're like, that's just he's your best player,
yeah.
and you've let him go to a division rival,
But
and not only division rival, like the maybe second or third best team in the NFL.
the annoy it's embarrassing when you look at it as well because they basically prioritized Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. They gave Daniel Jones the big money contract.
Yeah.
They didn't want to give Saquon Barkley a big contract, so they let him go. And now look what's happened. Daniel Jones is
Mm.
not even at that franchise anymore. So
Oh, it's ridiculous, and I think
bad.
the NFL not they don't really take their running backs seriously in terms of paying them. They don't pay them as much as they do any other skill position, which I think this season may change that because of the Derrick Henry being unreal, Saquon Barkley. You've got the two at the Lions who are playing unreal, Josh Jacobs playing unreal. You've got so many running backs at the moment that are the probably one of the best players on their team.
Mm,
So I feel like hopefully the narrative will change with like how much they get paid. But the Daniel Jones stuff was like, it's
crazy.
hard to watch
Mm.
because you feel bad for the guy. Yeah, he got paid an absolute ton. He just got hounded on, and the fact they made him play like
Safety, didn't they?
safety in practice, and it's just wrong.
Come home, mate. Come to Kevin O'Connor. He'll treat you right. Don't worry about
Mate,
that.
Sam Darnold to get injured in the championship game, and then Daniel Jones to lead you to your first Super Bowl. That would be
Can
hilarious.
you imagine the storyline? Can you imagine?
Daniel Jones would be like, "What the fuck is happening? Like, I've just voided my 140 million pound contract. I'm not getting any of that money now, and I've gone to the Vikings where I'm getting paid probably a shit ton less."
No. I think because currently, I mean, I don't know how it works when he's actually signed to the official 53 man roster, but currently, because he's on the Vikings practice squad, right?
Mm.
The Giants are currently still paying all of his salary,
Oh,
all
nice.
all of his salary, and I think when he gets signed up to the 53, I think obviously the Vikings will pay a bit, but I think the large majority will still be paid by the Giants. I
But is
think.
that just basic salary though? Because I
I'm not
think he
sure.
I think because he asked to be cut, I think he voided his like big money
Right.
contract.
Okay.
So I feel like I think it may just be the standard rate of pay that NFL players get
Mm.
because there is like a lowest limit you can get paid as you're like automatically paid that much when you
Yeah.
get in
Yeah.
when you start in the NFL. So I feel like it might be that much money because I tried to have a look and be like, why the fuck would the Giants cut him when they owe him like 120 million? But I think from what I could see, like they don't actually owe him that anymore because it
Yeah.
was he decided to cancel the contract. So, but yeah, wild.
Wild, mate. NFL is wild. Last quick story on the NFL. Did you see Joe Burrow say about how he bought a Batmobile?
Yeah, sounds sick. I
Three
saw
mil.
them. Yeah,
Incredible.
I saw it on Twitter and I sent the pictures to my dad. Like, this thing sounds sick.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there was like what 10 of them or something.
Was it? I mean, oh,
There was a few you could buy. But yeah, it's not road legal, but they're fully functional. They work. He can drive it around like his private property.
sick. On a massive tangent, it's not sports related. I actually watched the Batman film on Amazon Prime with Robert Pattinson for the first time last week.
The first time, it's fucking
First time.
sick.
Great
So
film. Long
good.
film. Long film. Had to watch it in parts. Had to watch it across 2 days, but
Yeah,
still, incredible film. Makes me want to watch
great.
it.
Yeah, Penguin's good. Penguin's good.
But yeah,
I
enough of
reckon.
that. Enough of that. Tennis, mate. Big news out of tennis since we last spoke. Andy Murray will be Novak Djokovic's head coach for the Australian Open and for the foreseeable.
Amazing. Love it.
Thoughts? Crazy news.
Absolutely, absolutely love it. I mean, at this point, I think when Djokovic was talking about it as well, he was like, he even said, I think at one point, I was sort of thinking about coach. Like, do I need a coach? Like, he definitely does not need a coach at the moment. Like, if
No.
there's anyone that doesn't need a coach, it's him. Um, I think they're just going to have just a sick time.
Just
Andy
gonna
Murray,
have
Andy
fun.
Murray's going to go back to Australia. Like, he was very successful there, 5 finals. It just all happened to be against Djokovic. And then if Djokovic manages to win another Australian Open and Andy Murray is his coach when he wins it, that would be great. And
Epic.
I just think Andy Murray in the tennis world is a good thing.
Yeah. I think you said it as well. It could be Djokovic's last season. So why
Yeah,
not kind of just have like a effort year, bucket year?
mate.
Why
What
not?
I would do: get Andy Murray to coach you for the Australian Open, get Nadal to coach you for the French Open, get Federer to
Big.
coach you for Wimbledon, and then retire after Wimbledon. It's fucking sick.
That that's pretty spot on, mate. That's perfect. That is a
Yeah,
shout and a half, mate. That is a
yeah.
shout.
I mean, why not? Or get I don't know who to get for the. I think then get Del Potro to coach for the US Open if you want to. Like it's just works.
Yeah, that is
Just
epic.
works.
That is epic. That is epic. But yeah, that's pretty big news. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll move to cricket. England are playing New Zealand at the minute. And Byron, I can't say his name. Ryden Cast is tearing it up. Come out of nowhere for me. Took
Yeah.
the first test. Took a couple today, I think, as well. So yeah, he's playing really well. Harry Brook is no joke, just an incredible batsman.
Harry Brook at the moment has the second best average in away tests.
Yeah, Harry Brook is flying at the minute. I think he's
Yeah.
alongside the second best average in away tests. I think he's currently the number two test batsman behind Joe Root
Oh,
currently.
really?
So he's flying. Bethel hit a 50 in the
Yeah.
first test. We spoke about him last podcast. But yeah, what's your assessment of England at the minute? You think they're going all right?
Yeah, that's actually fair. I think they're not doing too bad.
No.
An odd couple of tests. I think first test was pretty decent against New Zealand. Um, this test, low scores.
Yeah.
I've only hit like was it 200 and something. Harry
280.
Brooks scoring 120 of that is
Yeah.
a bit ridiculous. Like Root not really getting started. I think he got like 5 or something. But then Bolt getting them down to 70 for 5 or something.
I think so, yeah.
It's pretty good. I think I don't see any problems with it at the moment. I think for a team that's still finding its feet in terms of players, I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm glad they're trying, players out. You want to get a solidified Test match squad for the Ashes, so I don't mind that at all. And they're all playing pretty
Yes.
well at the moment. Again, we touched on it earlier, but England were fined, well, they docked World Test Championship points for slow over rate again in the first test between England and New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's just bollocks, isn't it? This whole England won the test match on day 4.
Yeah. 19 hours to go, you said, or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they won it
Yeah.
early. So why are you docking for a slow over rate? It doesn't make any sense, in my
Doesn't
opinion.
make any difference. Like you said, unless they're playing that draws are coming out their ass, but they're either winning or losing this test within the 5 days with the amount of overs they're bowling. It doesn't make any difference. And in terms of deducting points, it seems silly.
It's ridiculous. And unless you have a team of two spinners that do a large majority of the work, it's incredibly difficult to keep up with this slow over run rate, especially if you've got
Mm.
pace bowlers that take, their run ups take time, etc.
Yeah, and we've probably got a heavy pace team at the moment.
Exactly.
Um,
It's,
so yeah, and I think Stokes is. He says like I've not signed anything for any of these things for ages, but we still get fined. Like they still take the money despite us not. And so how are we meant to have a conversation when they're not even doing it properly? So
yeah, it winds me up. It winds me up. I think England they were penalised in the Ashes for it. They're penalised now for it.
yeah,
It's just a silly rule altogether. I understand if people being incredibly slow and you don't get through 70 overs in a day, but when
yeah,
England still getting through 80 odd overs in a day, it just and winning the Test match on day 4, it just winds me up. Uh,
yeah.
and also, there's been a few. I saw a Telegraph headline today about a couple of leading England cricketers are ready to boycott the 100, and it just
Oh,
made me think
really?
about how many short form, you know, cricket tournaments that are around the globe, and it just there's so many. You can just see players playing a couple games here. I think for in the Vitality Blast, Northampton Steelbacks, they get a couple of, foreign players that'll bring him in just for a couple of games.
Yeah,
Makes no sense. Then they go off to play the 100 for a couple of games. And then they'll go to, India to play a couple of games, T20. It just makes no sense to me how
mm.
these players are just getting loaned mid-season.
Here, there, and everywhere.
The contracts don't make any sense to me. I don't know about what your thoughts on that. It's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of money.
wild. Yes, it's wild, and like there's no consistency in terms of like saying, especially vitality, but it's taken away from it because Northampton were playing really well, and then you take away some great players, and you're like, well, that's slightly unfair. Surely, I think if those players commit to playing for a team, you should commit to playing to that for that
Yeah,
team.
100%.
Um, I don't see why you should be able to play everywhere
Yeah.
in one go. Like play for them next season if you really wanted to, or like just having these 1 or 2 games in and out of a squad just seems silly to me.
I think there was a story on Afridi for Pakistan.
Yeah,
Um, he's been notorious for playing every single T20 tournament there is, right?
yeah,
But apparently he's been dropped for the latest Pakistan Test match due to game management. And it just seems ridiculous how you can play all of these
yeah.
seemingly seemingly pointless games. They're playing for the 100 doesn't mean anything to him, but playing for
No,
Pakistan would mean a lot. So there's definitely a sort of a money sort of element there, I imagine.
must be,
Sense.
must be.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the pod. Any best sporting moments of the year for you? As we might
Or
not get another one in before the end of 2024. There's
I
been quite
think
a
it
lot.
might have been at the moment. It's just 'cause this is recency bias in terms of they had a competition. Paddy Power had a competition the other day about basically finding out what was harder, a 147 and snooker, a nine darter or hole in one, and seeing Luke Humphreys just rip into Steve. Was it Stephen
Yeah,
Hendry?
no, he was a snooker player. I can't remember his name. I don't think it was Stephen Hendry. I know exactly who you mean.
It was
Um,
something just like something. Mark Hendry. Mark. Basically, the guy who said the snooker guy who said he'd hit a 9 darter before.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
And they Van Gogh and let me have a go. He missed the fucking board. Like, and basically everyone was like, yeah, this guy's never hit a 9 darter in his life. Like,
wait,
that is the most bullshit thing.
didn't he have three attempts? He hit 11 on the first
Yep.
dart, off the board on the second dart, and then hit the rubber on the third dart. And I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
How is that happening? And then what was it? Luke Humphreys was basically saying what his opinion was, and he was saying, like, to an amateur, he thinks a hole in one is the easiest,
Wow, this is
a
good.
nine darter is second easiest, and a 147 is the hardest to an amateur.
Right.
And then he said to a pro, he thinks the easiest is a 147. The second easiest is a hole in one, and the third easiest is a 9 darter. And to be fair, his point was that as a pro, you know all the angles of that ball in
Mm,
snooker. And he was like, you guys have come close like 4 times to
yeah.
this 147 in these. I think it was like 2 hours they're doing it for. And he's just like, so technically it's just easier for you because you're at the top of your field, and like the margin of error is obviously a bit bigger, I think, than in darts. And like the closest they came to a 9 darter was 7 darts. They weren't particularly
No.
close. It's not they had a load of like 8 darters or 10 darters. And to be fair, at the end of it, the only team to actually get a 9 darter or a hole in one or a 147 was a 147.
Yeah.
So that obviously lays to rest, like, that's probably easier.
What do you
Um,
think? What do you think is easier? Like, would you agree that
I
as
think I agree, to be honest.
Mm,
I do think I agree. Because I mean they did do statistics on it, and like in terms of amount of 147s um uh to like games played, and the amount of 9 darters to legs played and stuff like that, technically there are more 147s compared to 9 darters.
mm,
But there's just so much room. There's so little room for error in darts. I feel like it's more room for error.
yeah.
Um, because not only like do you have to hit it exactly in that little like square, you have to also miss the other dart you've just hit in it.
Very true. Yeah, you have to
You're
split, don't you?
giving yourself an obstacle.
Mm.
And I think hole in one, I think that a lot of that's luck. I just
It
think it's,
depends on conditions as well and course.
yeah,
So
true.
so
But like you see a lot of amateurs hit um like hole in ones.
I suppose because it's only one shot, isn't it? It's one
Hmm.
shot, and you can get lucky with one shot. To
Yeah,
get lucky with nine
9 in a
darts,
row.
or to get lucky with however many shots it takes you to hit a 147,
Yeah,
there's a lot less luck involved and a lot more skill. So I suppose
right.
when you're looking at it that way, then
That's a good
yeah,
point.
a hole in one is probably the easiest to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I would ever do that because I've got nothing in my life of doing that. But yeah, yeah. For me, 147, I would say is the hardest. I would say
Yeah.
147 is the hardest. Then nine
Oh,
data, then a hole in one. I think.
there's
It's tricky. Good debate though. Good debate.
yeah.
But yeah, that was your that was your sporting moment of the year.
Yeah, it wasn't a big one, to be fair. Now we've said it. It sounds pretty pitiful, to be fair.
That's a
Um,
hilarious moment though. Pretty hilarious moment.
I'm trying to think of a different one. United winning the FA Cup.
No
Uh,
one expected that. No one
no
expected
one expected it.
that. I've got Ollie Watkins' goal against Netherlands. That was a
Oh, fuck yeah, that was
moment.
even Cole Palmer's, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna put Cole Palmer's, but we
It's
lost.
bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
We
And
lost.
I think in terms of, because we conceded again so quickly after that goal,
Yeah.
um, it was a bit shit.
Yeah.
And in terms of Ollie Watkins, like it was 90th minute, semi-final to win, like last kick of the game,
Yeah, he's last.
and the type of goal it was a stunning goal. It's just like, yeah, that was a moment out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah, and also it was shout out the Olympics as well. I thoroughly
Yeah,
enjoyed the Olympics this year. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, that was on Josh Kerr in the 1500 meters. He didn't get it
yeah,
done. In the end, Hocker did, but there's so many moments. Keely Hodgkinson who won the 800 meters. So yeah, good sporting year all around, I would say.
yeah, definitely.
And it's still plenty more sports to go. Still got Fury Usyk. You still got the
I'll tell you when that happened.
World Darts Championship coming up. Have fun.
Yeah,
Obviously, got Christmas football fixtures, and then in the new year, NFL playoffs. So
yeah, yeah.
still,
Which the Patriots will be part of. Just got to win out. We've got that. We've got the hardest schedule left in the NFL.
so you're not going to win out then, are you?
I think we still have to play the Bills twice.
Yeah, not happening, mate. Especially if
Yeah,
you're missing 6 8 yarders. Not going to happen. You're going to need all that luck.
yeah, that was peak. And then the way we lost this weekend was also, yeah, that was just very peak.
You got
Um,
flashes. You're showing flashes. You're showing
oh,
flashes.
I mean, Drake May, great pick,
Mm.
great pick, and we have the most amount of cap space in the NFL next season, so we can make some moves.
It'll be an interesting off season, I think, for you,
Yep,
for sure. Big
yep. I
money
think
move.
there'll be a lot of movement. I'm hoping there'll be a lot of movement. I think we need some star wide receiver
Mm.
somewhere.
Yeah, you need
We need a T Higgins.
yeah tall,
That would be quite good. Hmm?
tall physical receiver.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's just tough. I think we need a star. Hunt Henry. I think we've got a decent enough tight end.
Mm.
I don't think we need to particularly change that. But yeah, wide receiver we're definitely lacking in top wide receivers.
It'll be
Um,
interesting. It'll be interesting.
maybe an O line as well because the amount of times Drake May is about to get sacked is quite high.
And you'll be
So
paying Sam Darnold twice a year, apparently. So if you
yeah,
go Jets.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. Do we
But
pay the
anyway,
Jets again? No, if we pay the Jets twice already.
yeah, we're waffling now. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll probably be back again in the new year at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you, and yeah,
Cheers.
enjoy the weekend of sport.
Enjoy Christmas.
Enjoy Christmas. Happy. Bye bye.